Rebirth+Mind Reading+Group Pet+No System+Sand Sculpture+Palace Battle, the rating has just been released, so it is low. After being reborn 8 times, cat Xiaoxian Ye Qianqian only had her 9th life left. Ye Qianqian's last life was unexpectedly reborn in her mother's womb. This is a palace battle that has been going on since birth. Mother. This almond powder tea is mixed with peach kernel powder. Chen Jieyu is trying to harm your miscarriage, causing trouble for me. Ling, Chen Jieyu plotted to kill Long Tai, she was executed. Lin Zhaoyi falsely accused Consort Jin of having an affair with the guards. Father, Lin Zhaoyi and this gambler have joined forces to harm my mother. Ling, Lin Zhaoyi is dead. The Li Guo Proton carried Gubu to transmit the plague. Father, I have a prescription that can treat epidemics. Ling, the prescription provided by Consort Zhao has worsened my condition, so I will be executed. The queen fought for the crown prince's position for the eldest prince. Father, the crown prince is colluding with outsiders to kill the king and seize the throne. Ling, if the crown prince or below commits a crime, he will be punished with death. The empress is planning to crown prince, so he will be punished with death. Princess Chang plotted to harm Empress Jing with musk. Father. Sister is going to harm me. Jing deprives the princess of her position. Give her death. Ye Qianqian. Done, did I kill the harem completely? Abortion team. The little princess is a lucky star. She can't die. Chapter 1. Rebirth with the 9th life. You are listening at novel full.audio. After losing her 8th life, the cat immortal Ye Qianqian was thrown back into the human world by the king of hell. The first life, Ye Qianqian was killed by Chen Jieyu, a member of the harem abortion team, even before she was born. Second life, Ye Qianqian was falsely accused of not being the emperor's biological child by Qi Zhaoyi, a member of the abortion team, who used drops of water to confess his family right after birth, and was punished. The third life, Ye Qianqian was designed by Empress Zhao to be infected with bean disease at the age of 1. In order to eliminate the epidemic from the source, the emperor killed Ye Qianqian again. The fourth life, Ye Qianqian was bitten to death by a venomous snake released by Empress Chen at the age of 3. The fifth life, Ye Qianqian and Ji Jinyan were sent to marry a fool. Ye Qianqian vowed to die and refused to comply, and threw himself into the lake to commit suicide. The sixth life, Ye Qianqian was designed by a virtuous concubine to marry a eunuch in the palace, and after being demoted to a commoner by the emperor, he starved to death on the streets. The seventh life, Ye Qianqian married the young prince and became the main consort, but was disfigured by the concubine and couldn't bear the blow. Eighth life, if an alien invades, Yuan city will be destroyed, and the entire Great Yuan kingdom will be destroyed. Ye Qianqian has been implicated. The ninth life, the king of hell doesn't even know how Ye Qianqian can be killed. This is your last chance to be reborn. If you still fail, your 1000-year cultivation will be completely destroyed. At least you are also a little fairy, why are you not as cunning as those women in the harem? The ninth rebirth, when Ye Qianqian opened her eyes, was a pink-orange place. Ye Qianqian reached out her hand but touched a pipe. Wait. This is the umbilical cord. I'll go. I was actually reborn in my mother's womb. My dear mother. So how many months old am I now? Sincerely, I have good luck. Ye Qianqian heard someone enter the Chu Xiu palace, and the voice was that of Chen Jieyu's intimate palace maid Qianqian. Well, Ye Qianqian's first life was bestowed by the abortion powder sent by Qianqian, and she was killed when she was 5 months old. It seems that I still have 4 months left before I can be born, and my mother is not someone with a broad mind. How can I protect myself? This is almond powder tea personally ground by Chen Xiaozhu, let me bring it to you. Thank you. After Qianqian left, Jinping lifted the lid of the almond powder tea and sniffed it. The taste is so delicious. No wonder Sister Chen still misses me. Isn't that right? She worries every day about how to fuck me and let her mother give birth. Jinping was stunned. Where did the sound that came out of thin air come from? In the side hall of the Chu Xiu Palace, she is now the only one serving the close palace maid Xiaoyu, who has not spoken, and her voice is not the same. Is it a hallucination? Judging from the appearance of the autumn moon, it doesn't seem like she heard anything. And this voice just called her mother. Can it be difficult? Jinping looked at her belly. Is it a mother-son relationship? Sigh, my mother won't really drink it, will she? Don't drink it. There's a lot of peach kernel powder mixed with Chen Jieyu that harms the fetus. My mother's body is already weak, and if she drinks this tea powder every day, she will definitely have a small production in less than 3 days. Jinping's original action of scooping tea powder with a spoon stopped immediately. She's sure this isn't a hallucination. Originally, she thought that this was almond tea powder ground by Chen Jieyu herself, so she didn't let Chuyue serve her. Instead, she personally prepared it to live up to Chen Jieyu's heart. Unexpectedly, Chen Jieyu hid her intentions in the tea powder and planned to harm her miscarriage. Why is there no sound? Mother. Mother, are you okay? My beautiful and heartless mother, you haven't already drunk it, have you? Am I going to drink this poison through my umbilical cord soon? It's over. I'm going to gag again. Jinping loosened the spoon. Just wanted to say something. Suddenly, I heard the sound of a eunuch coming from outside. The emperor has arrived. Jinping stood up. After Ling entered, he bowed with blessings. The emperor is blessed with good fortune. Get up now. Emperor Xie. Autumn Moon supported the virtuous concubine and sat down. The emperor looked at the almond tea powder placed on the small table on the couch. The taste of almond tea powder is quite rich. Father. Save my mother. Hurry up and save my mother. Ling was taken aback. Who is speaking? In this side hall, no one else spoke. Jinping had already heard this voice, but now she pretended not to hear anything, with a calm expression on her face. Ling thought it was a hallucination, so he didn't take it seriously. Jinping, have you been doing well lately? Jinping hasn't spoken yet. That voice is ringing again. What a bullshit. My mother is going to have a miscarriage caused by Chen Jieyu. I'm also going to have a miscarriage. So what I said earlier, did father ignore it? Empress Jing was so frightened that she dared not even speak out. My child, how dare you speak to your father like this? The last person who dared to speak to your father like this has been imprisoned by your father for a month now. Ling is certain that this is not hallucination. Is it difficult? Is this voice coming from inside Jin's belly? It is said that mother and son are connected. Is it because the fetus has sensed danger and transmitted a protective signal to him? Jinping saw Ling frown, as if she had heard it. Immediately say. This is the almond tea powder that Sister Chen just ordered someone to send. I haven't tasted it yet. Sister Chen's craftsmanship must be good. I'll say it again. There's peach kernel powder mixed with damaged fetuses inside. Father, hurry up and summon an imperial physician to investigate. Unless you default to killing your child by the abortion team. TSK, if you're really so ruthless, then don't blame God for punishing your offspring for withering and being rebelled by foreign tribes, which will harm your entire family. Jinping is almost scared to death. Please stop talking. Ling looked at Jinping's belly with a green face. In just 5 months, I have such a sharp mouth. It is said that the grand physician Chang. Jinping breathed a sigh of relief. Although Ling was very dissatisfied with his own child's disrespectful attitude towards him, at least he really listened to it. As long as the imperial physician comes to investigate, then everything else will be easy to handle. Dr. Chang quickly came in. Yi Ling, look at this almond tea powder and see if there's any other dirt mixed in. Yes. Dr. Chang immediately picked up a tea jar, scooped out a spoonful and placed it in his palm, carefully sniffing it. I frowned at the moment. Your Majesty, this almond tea powder is mixed with a large amount of peach kernel powder. If I drink it, I will have a miscarriage in less than 3 days. Yi Ling immediately asked Empress Jing. Jing Pin, do you have this tea powder to drink? Jing Pin shook her head. I haven't had it yet. Yi Ling breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately, his face became fierce. Gao Yong. Gao Yong is the eunuch-in-chief of the Dayuan Palace. I am here. According to the decree, Chen Jieyu plotted to kill Long Tai and was executed. Yes. Wow. Father, you are so decisive. The child kowtowed to you in her womb. Long live my emperor. Long live. Yi Ling couldn't help but smile at the corner of her mouth. Just now you showed me great disrespect, but now you're just a flatterer. The speed of face changing is too fast. In the future, I will also be a mischievous little human spirit. Yi Ling issued a new decree. Starting from today, all food and drink that enters the Chu Xiu Palace's Jin Pin must be verified by Dr. Chang to ensure that it will not harm Jin Pin and Long Tai before entering. If there is a slight difference, I will chop off all of your heads. The eunuchs and palace maids immediately knelt on the ground. I obey the order. Chen Jieyu is hoping for her abortion plan to succeed. Hehe, Empress Jing really thought that having a dragon fetus gave her a way to rely on her. In this harem, having a dragon fetus is not a skill, but being able to be safely born is a skill. In less than 3 days, concubine Jing will have a miscarriage. What else can we expect from her in this palace? Suddenly, Gao Yong walked in. Chen Jieyu immediately stood up. Gao Gonggang, but the emperor summoned me. Chen Jieyu's words just now, Gao Yong listened to them all at the door. It is not yet known whether there is any hope for Empress Jing, but Chen Jieyu is completely hopeless. According to the emperor's edict, Chen Jieyu plotted to kill Long Tai and was executed. Chapter 2. Self-Reflection. Little Princess. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Chen Jieyu was taken aback. No. Impossible. Gao Gonggang, this palace has never harmed a dragon fetus. Someone deliberately framed it. It must be. Do you think your acting skills are very good? After Gao Yong finished his oral edict, he instructed the eunuch to deliver the poison to Chen Jieyu. Chen Jieyu was unwilling to overturn the poison. I won't drink. I want to see the emperor. I want to see the emperor. Gao Yong gave a glance to the eunuch beside him. 2 eunuchs immediately stepped forward and held down Chen Jieyu. Chen Jieyu is still struggling frantically. Gao Yong became impatient. Empress Jing is still having a baby, don't be disturbed. Chen Jieyu's mouth was immediately stuffed with a piece of cloth, and all of Chen Jieyu's words were blocked back. The eunuch picked up a rope and used force to strangle Chen Jieyu's neck. Chen Jieyu struggled hard. In less than 15 minutes, there was no breath left. Jingren Palace. The captain of the abortion team, the queen, said coldly. Stupid, it is not yet clear whether the dragon fetus in Empress Jin's belly is male or female, so she acted recklessly. Qi Zhaoyi said, Empress, this virtuous concubine's belly has been 5 months now. In theory, whether she is a man or a woman should be clear. The queen casually played with the emerald bead chain in her hand. Whether it's a man or a woman, this palace hasn't fully taken it to heart. If it's a princess, it's also a fate for marriage in the future. If it's a prince, this palace happens to have more chips. In this harem, even if a prince is born, it does not mean that the mother can rely on her son for wealth. The mother must live to enjoy this glory and wealth. If she dies. The queen sneered coldly. Just like the Tao Empress in the past, she was only responsible for giving birth and had no life to support her. As the eldest prince, she would not end up being a child of this palace. As long as this palace holds all the princes in the harem, this palace will still be the only Empress Dowager. Dinner of the same day. Yi Ling went to the Chu Xiu Palace again. Yi Ling does not have a deep affection for Empress Jing. He just wanted to see if he could hear the sound of the dragon tire again. Jin Pin did not know in advance that the emperor was coming, and the dinner she prepared was still the one she often ate on weekdays. The sudden arrival of Yi Ling made Jin Pin feel somewhat flattered and surprised. I don't know if the emperor is coming, but I have prepared a simpler dinner. No problem, I'll accompany you to dinner. On the table, there are steamed perch, stir-fried vegetable heart, rock sugar and tremella snow pear soup. I just drank a mouthful of tremella snow pear soup. Ye Qianqian tasted the taste through her umbilical cord, and her voice rang again. Ouch, hey. Other concubines are pregnant with big birds' nests. Poor my mother, who only deserves to eat tremella snow pear soup after her hard pregnancy. Tut tut. My husband doesn't love her, and my mother.in.law doesn't love her, so she is a frustrated little daughter.in.law. Yi Ling was instantly choked. Upon careful consideration, from the time Empress Dowager Jin became pregnant until now, due to her low social status and lack of family background. In addition, Yi Ling already has 5 princes and 1 princess. I didn't pay much attention to the pregnancy of Empress Jin. I haven't given her any precious supplements, and I rarely come to visit her. Dragon fetus is crying out for her mother. Yi Ling immediately ordered, starting from tomorrow, let the chief manager of the imperial kitchen be responsible for the food and drink of Empress Jin. After a pause, Yi Ling said. Especially bird's nest, with 3 meals a day, it can be served vigorously. Yes. Consort Jin immediately stood up to express gratitude. Yi Ling waved his hand. No need to thank you, just sit and eat. Ah. In an instant, I felt that my father was wise and powerful. That's right. My mother, a daughter, married into a man's family, hoping that her husband could become a reliable partner. Otherwise, what do we want? How old is my father? Does he not take a shower? Yi Ling's face turned black as she listened. I am 40 years old this year, and I am not too old, am I? Also, I take a shower every day. In the eyes of those outside the palace walls, my mother is the Empress Dowager of the harem, with infinite natural scenery. However, outsiders would not know that my mother is not valued by my father and feels lonely and alone in this deep palace. In order to pass the long night, my mother counts the floor tiles every day. After counting the tiles, she touches them. Even if the tiles are damaged, there is no money to exchange them. Does not my father know the 4 words, rain and dew are evenly stained? As Yi Ling listened word by word, she felt guilty for Jin Pin in an instant. He picked up a piece of fish and placed it in the plate of the honored concubine. I don't remember how long it has been since I last came to see you. Jing Pin said softly. The emperor has not come to the Chu Xiu Palace for 3 months and 3 days. Yi Ling was surprised that Empress Jin remembered so clearly. But she didn't complain at all. Yi Ling's heart was immediately filled with guilt. Indeed, I neglected you. Starting from tomorrow, I will come to see you every day. The emperor misses his concubine, so I am naturally grateful. But please don't neglect the other sisters in the palace for my concubine's sake. They look forward to the emperor day by day, from darkness to dawn, just like my concubine. Ah, my mother is so kind. I could have taken advantage of this time to compete for favor, but still reminded my father that rain and dew are evenly distributed. Such a beautiful, kind, and not jealous mother, I can't even find her with a lantern. If it were me, my mother's husband would still hold her and kiss her endlessly every day. Yi Ling, today, I will stay here for the night, okay? Okay. In capital letters. Give Father the Emperor a round of applause. Pa 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 pa. Unfortunately, my hands are too small to applaud in my mother's belly, and Father the Emperor cannot hear me either. Yi Ling. Thank you, I heard you. That night, Yi Ling stayed at the Chushu Palace. Due to the inconvenience of my wife's health, Yi Ling just hugged her and slept. After thinking about it, Yi Ling gave Jin Pin a kiss on the face. Jin Pin was instantly shy. Your Majesty, you. When our child is born, I will spoil you again, okay? Jin Pin blushed and nodded. Long live. Long live. Long live. My father has done a great job. Give you a thumbs up. That's right. Living as a couple, kissing is already a daily routine. It can increase marital relationships. Anyway, my mother has never thought about the position of Empress, so my father doesn't have to worry about her being arrogant and bullying other concubines. My mother is a very satisfied and beautiful lady. Lala. After hearing this, Yi Ling kissed Jin Pin's face again. Yeah. Father is really a person who likes to boast. As a reward to Father, tonight I won't make a fuss and will sleep quietly in my mother's belly. After hearing this, Yi Ling smiled. He is really a dragon embryo that embodies himself. Jiner. Yi Ling suddenly spoke up and called out the name of Empress Jing, who was stunned. It's been a long time since the Emperor called her that. Your Majesty. You said, is the dragon fetus in your belly a princess or a prince? I don't know, but I hope it's a princess. I only have one daughter now, and I also hope to be a princess. Ye Qianqian's milky voice made Yi Ling and Jin Pin unable to distinguish whether it was a male or female fetus. After thinking for a moment, Yi Ling gently touched Empress Jin's belly. A gentle question. Baby, tell Father, are you a boy or a girl? However, at this moment, Yi Qianqian had already fallen asleep. Yi Ling did not receive a response and was not disappointed. Tomorrow, let the imperial physician check the pulse and see if it's a male or female fetus, right? Chapter 3. What is valuable and likes what? You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Jin Pin nodded. Well, everything is arranged by the Emperor. This night, Empress Jing slept soundly. The entire harem also knew that the Emperor had stayed overnight at the Chushu Palace. The Queen remained calm. It's just staying overnight. Today in this palace and tomorrow in that palace are just the daily operations of the Emperor. When the Emperor stays overnight in the Chushu Palace, that's when she's on her guard. The second day, Dr. Chang came to ask for a safe pulse. Consort Jin asked, Dr. Chang, is this pregnancy in our palace a male or a female? Returning to the young master, this pregnancy seems to be a female one. Jin Pin smiled. That palace's dream has come true. Dr. Chang was taken aback. He was well aware that the young master of the harem hoped to conceive a dragon son. Through this, his mother relied on her son's high status, and the idea of being a virtuous concubine was different from others. Should she be said to be independent of the world, or should she be said to be foolish? Although Jin Pin doesn't have that much scheming, it doesn't mean she's a scumbag with a negative IQ score. She saw the concubines with princes in this harem, who passed away mysteriously one by one. The princes were ultimately raised by the Empress. Only Lin Zhaoyi, who gave birth to a daughter, is still alive and scathed. If the Empress is completely innocent in this regard, Empress Jing does not believe it. If there is really the Empress's plan in this, giving birth to a daughter can actually ensure her safety in the harem. After learning that Empress Jing had a female fetus in her belly, she felt relieved. Empress Jing is truly fortunate. The female fetus in her belly saved her life, otherwise she would never have seen the prince grow up. Qi Zhaoyi said, after the emperor finds out, he will definitely not stay overnight in the Chu Xiu Palace. That's nature, just a princess. The emperor won't take it seriously. However, the development of the matter exceeded the queen's expectations. Starting from that day, the emperor stays overnight in the Chuxiu Palace every day. This night, Empress Jing leaned against the bedside. Ling sat in front of her, gently caressing Empress Jin's belly while speaking softly. Father now knows that you are a princess, and father has prepared a name for you. Do you like it or not? Jinping smiled and asked, what name has the emperor prepared for the princess? Ye Qianqian. Ye Qianqian yawned. This is the 9th time she has used this name. There is no suspense for a long time. Jinping lowered her head and looked gently at her belly. Baby, do you like this name? If you like it, just kick your mother's stomach. At first, Ye Qianqian had no reaction. Alas, this name is like breathing, there's not much surprise left. But forget it, just give it a little kick and give you face. However, Ling and Jinping did not feel it. Ling was somewhat disappointed. The princess doesn't seem to like this name, so I'll think about it again. With it, let's call it, if you know, how about this name? Ye Qianqian was instantly awakened. What? Mentally disabled. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want such a stupid name. It's not as pleasant as Ye Qianqian. Ye Qianqian immediately kicked Empress Jing in the stomach. Jinping and Ling clearly felt it. Ling smiled. It seems that the princess really likes this name. Ah. I don't like this name. Father, you might be mistaken. I don't want to be called mentally disabled. This name doesn't sound as good as Guzi. I want the name Ye Qianqian. So, do you still like the name Qianqian? Ling asked gently. Yes, my father is right. From now on, my name is Ye Qianqian. Qianqian, you are about to be born in 4 months. What gift should father prepare for you? I don't know what you like either. Gold, jewelry, and porcelain. What's worth it and what you like? Of course, the earliest among them is hard currency gold. Father, please prepare a ton of gold for me as my birth gift. Ling was frightened by this request. We probably don't have a single ton of gold reserves in the entire Yuan dynasty. Jinping. Your Majesty, why not use gold to make a safety lock for Qianqian? What? Only one. You're so stingy. What did I, Ye Qianqian, do wrong? A princess can only get 1 golden safety lock when she was born. I want to get 10. No, 100. Unless this one is a 100-pound safety lock. Ling has a black line on her face. Is it certain that the 100-pound gold safety lock will not be crushed by the weight of gold after being worn? Then create 100 gold safety locks with different patterns for Qianqian, each with a weight of about 10 taels. 10 taels is almost equal to 150 g. Wait. I'll start counting with my fingers. 110 taels, 100 taels is 1,000 taels, wow kaka. I can get 1,000 taels of gold just after I was born. This incredible wealth is finally my turn. Thank you, father. When I'm born and crawling, I'll definitely hold you crazy and kiss you. Ling smiled helplessly. This is not a little princess, this is clearly a little miser. Jinping reminded me. Emperor, when Princess Hejing was born, she only received 500 taels of gold as a reward. As a younger sister, Qianqian received more rewards at birth than the eldest princess. Perhaps this is not appropriate, is it? There's nothing inappropriate, my child. I can reward you as much as I want, right, Qianqian? Right. Father. I love you the most. Give you a mo. Mua. Ling felt as if she had really been kissed by Ye Qianqian, and couldn't help but touch her face. The reason why Ye Qianqian crazily demanded gold at the beginning was also for her and Jin Pin's consideration in the future. In this harem, no one will do anything for you without scattering a lot of silver. With silver in her hand, Empress Jing has the capital to manipulate people to buy people's hearts, which is a divine aid for her path of fighting monsters in the palace. When Yi Ling stayed overnight at the Chushiu Palace for 7 consecutive days. The queen can't sit still. I am clearly pregnant. I heard from the eyeliner of the Chushiu Palace that the emperor has stopped giving courtesies to my concubines for the past 7 days. There is no sexual intercourse, and the emperor can endure it for 7 days. Chen Jieyu also gritted her teeth in jealousy. I don't think so. It was Empress Jing who used some kind of seductive means to forcibly keep the emperor behind. There are many people in the harem who use spices to deceive the emperor. The queen thought for a moment. I will go find the Empress Dowager tomorrow in this palace. Early the next morning. The queen went to the Xiaoxian Palace to pay her respects. My concubine pays respects to the Empress Dowager, and the Empress Dowager is blessed with peace and prosperity. Although the Empress had not yet spoken, the old fox, the Empress Dowager, saw through her thoughts at a glance. Get up now. Empress Dowager Xie. Give me a seat. After the queen sits down. Just wanted to speak up. The Empress Dowager interrupted. Are you here for the Emperor's daily stay at the Chushiu Palace? Chapter 4. The last palace fighting champion, mother of the Emperor's ancestor. You are listening at novel full.audio. The queen was taken aback. The Empress Dowager, who was the boss of the previous palace battle, has really ruthless eyes. Yes, I am also worried. Empress Jing used deceptive methods to bewitch the emperor. Empress Jing is timid and afraid of things. I think you have been too worried. Although the emperor stayed at the Chushiu Palace, the political affairs of the previous dynasty were not delayed. Upon hearing this, Empress Jing advised the emperor to have both rain and dew, but the emperor was concerned about the child in Empress Jin's womb and refused to leave. If this is a fox seductive tactic, the AI family hopes that everyone in the harem will have a pattern like Jin Pin, so they won't fight to the death for favor. The empress is so angry in her heart. She was originally here to complain. Why did the Empress Dowager actually praise concubine Jin? This script is not right. However, Empress Dowager Jin is only pregnant with a princess, so the emperor may have been too concerned. According to the empress's instructions, should I let Empress Jin slip the tire so that the emperor won't be concerned anymore? No, Empress Dowager, I don't mean that. I'm just worried about the emperor. Alright, the AI family has some doubts in their hearts. Since you have doubts, the AI family will summon Jin Pin to see if she is the fox seductive son you mentioned. The queen ultimately left in frustration. Jin Pin was quickly invited to the Xiaoxian Palace. My concubine pays respects to the Empress Dowager, and the Empress Dowager is blessed with peace and prosperity. Get up, give me a seat. Empress Dowager Xie. The Empress Dowager glanced at Lady Jin's belly. Empress Jin's belly is getting bigger and bigger. Before the princess is born, please forgive me. Empress Dowager Xie. Thank you, Grandma. The Empress Dowager was stunned when she heard this voice. Who is talking? The Empress Dowager thought she had also hallucinated. I heard that the emperor has been staying overnight in the Chushiu Palace for the past 7 days. My dear concubine is pregnant and needs to serve the emperor again. It must be very difficult, right? Consort Jin sensed the implied meaning. The meaning is that the emperor is by your side every day, and if other concubines have some objections, you can give the emperor some peace of mind and let him go to rest with the other concubines first. I understand that I will persuade the emperor. The Empress Dowager nodded. Since entering just now, every word and action of Empress Jin has been a sensible expression, completely different from what the Empress claimed to be a spoiled and arrogant fox. This queen's jealousy is too strong. The AI family has recently received a new batch of silk and satin. Choose a few styles to make a few pieces of clothing, and you will soon become a mother. You should not dress too plainly. Empress Dowager Xie. Ruoqiu quickly walked up holding a batch of silk. Jinping chose a piece of pink material. Empress Dowager, my concubine wants to use this pink material to make some clothes for the princess. The Empress Dowager was greatly pleased in her heart. Jinping did not consider herself, but instead thought deeply of the little princess, saying that she was a fox-seductive child, which the Empress Dowager refused to believe. When it comes to the gifts prepared for the princess, the AI family actually asked the craftsman to make 2 gold safety locks. The Empress Dowager said and picked up the 2 boxes beside her. Jinping, take a look. Empress Dowager Xie. Jinping took it with both hands and opened it to take a look. They are 2 exquisite gold safety locks, each weighing approximately 10 taels. The AI family has prepared an additional 500 taels of gold, always to receive as much favor as when Jing was born, both of whom are the granddaughters of the AI family, and the AI family is not biased. Has grandmother prepared gold safety locks and gold ingots for me so early? She is really my good grandmother. Wishing grandmother blessings such as the East China Sea, a long life like the South Mountain, the sun and moon shining together, and the spring and autumn not aging. Everything goes smoothly. Long life is boundless. Grandmother, 1,000 years old. The Empress Dowager is certain that it is not a hallucination. Could it be that it was the connection brought by the relatives of the next generation? Cough cough. The Empress Dowager suddenly coughed. Grandmother. Are you okay? If you're sick, hurry up and ask the imperial physician to come and take a look. Grandmother must take good care of her body, and Xiaoxian is still waiting to be by her side after birth, so that grandmother can enjoy the happiness of family and enjoy the happiness of enjoying her grandchildren. The Empress Dowager was greatly pleased in her heart. As the champion of the previous palace battle, she is already tired of the methods of vying for favor in the harem. There are not many concubines in this generation that are reassuring. Thinking about mother and son being precious. Thinking about the fox's seductive methods to seduce the emperor. It's common to think about getting pregnant concubines to have slippery fetuses. The 5 princes grew up next to the empress again. Princess Hejing followed Lin Zhaoyi's heart again. The Empress Dowager has never enjoyed the happiness of having her grandson by her side. The older one gets nowadays, the more envious they are of the common people's relatives. Now, an unborn little princess suddenly gives her such a warm feeling, how could she not be happy in her heart? Ijia is fine, it's just a slight cold. Just take some medicine and it'll be fine. Ah, I feel so sorry for my grandmother. Grandmother must take good care of her body and watch Qianqian grow up slowly. Qianqian will definitely accompany her well. Take good care of grandmother. Ouch. This little mouth is so sweet. Even if the Empress Dowager had any illness, she immediately recovered. After taking the medicine, the Empress Dowager said. Jia feels that these 500 taels of gold are indeed a bit less, add them to 800 taels. Consort Jin was taken aback. So quickly added 800 taels of gold. How much the Empress Dowager values this little princess. Grandmother. Qianqian doesn't want gold anymore. Qianqian is willing to exchange this gold for grandmother's health, safety, and longevity. Ah, this child, the Empress Dowager feels heartwarming. Don't miss it. After sitting for a while, Empress Jing. The Empress Dowager saw that she was a bit tired. Just say it. Empress Jing, go back and rest. The AI family will come to see you tomorrow. Consort Jin was taken aback. It has always been the concubines who go to the Xiaoxian Palace to pay their respects. But no Empress Dowager has ever lowered her posture to personally visit the concubines' harems, unless it is someone who has just given birth to a prince or princess. And as long as Jean Pin is pregnant and still pregnant with a princess, she can receive such treatment. It can be imagined how much the Empress Dowager values her concubine Jean or, in other words, the little princess. Empress Dowager Xie, I leave. Grandmother, you must take care of your health. Remember to drink medicine on time, drink plenty of hot water, and sleep well. Qianqian will definitely wait patiently for grandmother to come to the imperial palace. The Empress Dowager gave a heartwarming smile. Grandmother took note. When it was discovered that not only did Empress Dowager Jean not give any guidance, but she also added 300 taels of gold to the birth gift of the little princess. Tomorrow, she will personally visit her. The queen is dumbfounded. I underestimated concubine Jin's methods. Her seductive skills are so profound and sinister. I have captivated the emperor, and now even the Empress Dowager, an old fox, is also captivated. No way, I must do something, otherwise, the glory and favor of this harem will become her concubine Jean. I'm afraid that one day, I won't be able to maintain my position as the empress. Lin Zhaoyi thought for a moment. Empress Dowager, I have a solution. Let's hear it. Chapter 5. Father, Emperor, Kissing Mother. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. That night. No accidents. Yi Ling went to the Chu Xiu Palace again. The feeling of interacting with unborn children has never been experienced before, and he really enjoys this warm atmosphere. Without realizing it, Yi Ling became increasingly close to the little princess and showed more concern for Jean Pin. Qianqian, will father tell you a story? Okay, father, I stay in my mother's belly every day and feel so bored. Hurry up and tell me a story. What's a good story to tell? I'll tell Qianqian, how did father and your mother get to know each other back then? Alright. Qianqian is the crystallization of love between father and mother, and Qianqian also wants to know how much father loved mother back then. The more father loves mother, the more Qianqian loves father. Yi Ling smiled. I met your mother in a talent show. I still remember that day. Gina was dressed in a pink-purple dress, which accentuated her even more beautiful appearance. I immediately fell in love with her among the ladies. I kept her and bestowed Gina with eternal presents. Later on, I had a very pleasant time with your mother, and your mother's position was elevated from being humble to being virtuous. Do you still remember how long it took for my mother to go from being a concubine to being a concubine? This. Yi Ling was stopped by Yi Qianqian's question. Yeah, how long did it take to go from being a regular in 7th grade to being a concubine in 4th grade? He doesn't remember anymore. That once happy past is also very blurry for him. He doesn't remember when he became indifferent to Gina. The newcomers in the harem keep coming out one wave after another, like endless chives. Yi Ling was inevitably attracted by the newcomers, and gradually forgot about Gina. However, Jean Pin remembers it all. Your Majesty, from entering the palace, to being appointed as a permanent resident, to being appointed as a concubine, and now to the present day, it has been a total of 5 years and 130 days. Yi Ling sighed, his blurry memories were all remembered by Gina. Even defined the days as days. And he doesn't even remember which year she entered the palace. Whispering, father can't remember. Father despises his mother for being old and pale. Father doesn't love her anymore. Qianqian doesn't want to talk to father anymore. Yi Ling was at a loss and didn't know how to coax the little princess. Sincerely understanding, I apologize for him. I know that the emperor's affairs are busy, and the affairs in the court are always much more important than those in the harem. Mother. It's only you, at this time, still speaking for father. Father, mother loves you so much. This is called love. Mother is such a good woman, you should cherish it. Ling took Jin's hand. Jiner, it was I who treated you poorly. If it weren't for telling Qianqian a story just now, I'm afraid I would have forgotten. We had those happy memories before, and I remember that when I went to Jiangnan, I took you with me. Jinpin nodded. The emperor took my concubine to the water town of Jiangnan and bought her several gifts. Although compared to the rare treasures in the palace, they were too ordinary and could not be seen on the stage, they were the most precious gifts in my concubine's heart. I still cherish them well to this day. Can I take a look? It's said that seeing things makes me think of people. I also want to use objects to recall the past. Jinpin nodded. Take out a brocade box from the cabinet. Open. Inside are the tambourine, eyebrow pencil, and other ordinary objects. This is a tambourine bought by the emperor for my concubine. The emperor said that if one day the emperor gets old and no longer remembers my concubine, I will shake this tambourine. When the emperor hears the sound of the drum, he can think of my concubine. Jinpin shook as she spoke. Listen to the sound of the tambourine. Ling's thoughts returned to the street in the water town of Jiangnan 4 years ago. At that time, Jiner is only 20 years old, which is the most beautiful time for her appearance. Ling also spoils her and takes her with her wherever she goes. When memories are clear. Ling picked up an eyebrow pencil. I bought this eyebrow pencil for you. I promised you at the time that I would brush your eyebrows every day, but now I can't remember when I forgot our agreement. Humph. So, men are all big pig hooves. Since you remember, hurry up and take action. Prove in front of your mother that you still love her. At first, father wanted to feed me a mouthful of dog food, but he didn't expect me to be fed glass residue. Ling was instantly embarrassed. Dear son, I will eyebrow you. Jinpin smiled. Your Majesty, it's already the hour of high. How about tomorrow? Ling looked at the moonlight and nodded. Okay, this time, I will definitely not forget. Yeah, this is the correct way to feed me dog food. Seeing how loving my father and mother are, I feel at ease. If my mother is happy, I will be happy, and if she is happy, I will be happy. Then I can grow healthier in her belly. Mother, you finally don't have to spend a long night counting tiles to pass the time. Ling gently placed her hand on Jinpin's belly. Qianqian, it's great to give father the emperor another chance. Let father love your mother well. Humph. Since father is so sincere, then I'll give you a chance. Even if I don't give it, I can't resist mother's love brain being willing to give it. But if father makes mother sad and sad again, Qianqian will also grow up with sadness and sorrow in her belly. In the Sculpture+Palace, there is a peaceful atmosphere. However, a conspiracy is waiting for my wife. The next morning, Ling keeps her promise. Before going to court, give Jinpin a serious eyebrow. Because Ling hasn't drawn an eyebrow for a woman for too long, her hands are a bit clumsy. The painting is not very beautiful. My eyebrow drawing skills are still unfamiliar. Jinpin smiled and said. The emperor's ability to draw eyebrows for my concubine is already a great honor for me. My heart is sweeter than eating candy. Take a look, just draw an eyebrow and your mother will be so satisfied. There are probably only a few women in this harem who have such a mother's pattern. If your mother is happy, I will be happy. As soon as I am happy, I can grow up quickly. Dear son, I have court affairs to handle this afternoon. I will come to see you again tonight. The emperor doesn't need to worry about my concubine, the affairs of the court are important. Take a look. There are not many women who are ruthlessly, shamelessly, and unreasonably provoking trouble through pregnancy, but also support their husband's serious career development. Isn't it time for father to kiss his mother? Ling took Jin's hand and leaned towards her cheek. But suddenly felt a little embarrassed. He remembered the first time he kissed Jinpin like this, when he was also so careful and shy. After a gentle kiss on the face of Empress Jing, Yi Ling. Speak gently. Jiner, you have a good baby. If you're happy, the little princess will be happy. Your Majesty, rest assured that I will maintain a happy mood. Yi Ling gently touched Empress Jin's belly. Qianqian, be obedient. Father, come over tonight to tell you a story. See you tonight, father. You must come over. I'm waiting for father to tell me a story. Chapter 6. Mother accused of misconduct. You are listening at novel full.audio. After Yi Ling left, the Empress Dowager has come over. Send over a lot of supplements. These supplements are all good for your health. No one dares to tamper with the supplements I sent you. Please feel at ease. Empress Dowager Xie. Wow. Thank you, grandmother. It's rare to see such a good mother.in.law like grandmother. My mother is truly blessed and blessed, with the care of such a good mother.in.law. The Empress Dowager likes Ye Qianqian to praise her like this. As I get older, my ears have also become soft. I like to listen to soft talk, not to mention that these words were spoken by my own granddaughter. If you have any needs in the future, remember to tell the AI family not to be shy. You are the daughter.in.law of the AI family, and the AI family should have loved you. Wow. If every mother.in.law treats her daughter.in.law as well as the imperial grandmother, will there still be conflicts between mother.in.law and daughter.in.law in this world? I'm afraid it's even more intimate than my own mother and daughter. I really hope to meet a good mother.in.law like the imperial grandmother in the future. Everything delicious and delicious will be sent to me. I will definitely be filial to her like my mother. The Empress Dowager is actually somewhat guilty. Because she is not as good as Qianqian said. There are too many women in the harem, and she can't even handle a bowl of water with ease. She even has to be tired of dealing with things like being jealous and complaining. When the former Empress Dowager was favored by the Emperor, the Empress Dowager was also worried that she had used seductive methods and had never had a good face towards her. Later on, when the Emperor favored others, Empress Dowager Jin did not become jealous of them and continued to do her duties in a proper manner. The Empress Dowager only then changed her attitude towards her. Moreover, with such a mischievous little princess about to be born, her attitude towards Empress Jin is naturally even better. Empress Dowager, my concubine advised the Emperor last night. The AI family knows, it's okay. The Emperor can go wherever he likes, and the AI family will no longer interfere. Who doesn't like such a delicate and translucent little princess who has telepathic connections like her elders? The Empress Dowager also wishes to be in the Sculpture+Palace every day, listening to the little princess's praise and praise every day. This warm atmosphere was quickly broken by Chen Jieyu. That evening, the queen suddenly asked all the concubines in the harem to go to Jingren Palace. But it was not explicitly stated what it was. At first, Jean Pin was also puzzled. But still went. Ye Qianqian thought for a moment. In her first 8 rebirths, there was no memory of the queen suddenly summoning all the concubines. However, Ye Qianqian also became accustomed to it. After all, after the first 8 reincarnations, each time the gears of fate were reversed, causing what happened in the first reincarnation to deviate from the trajectory of the previous life. The 9th time, I think so too. But Ye Qianqian had a bad premonition in her heart that what the Empress was going to do tonight might be related to her mother. Anyway, we must protect our mother well. Jean Pin has just entered the inner hall of Jingren Palace. I felt all the concubines' eyes shooting towards her. Jean Pin's heartbeat is very fast. She knew that in the past few days, she had been favored by the Emperor. This morning, the Empress Dowager personally came to see her, said those considerate words, and gave her those supplements. At present, she is favored and privileged, but she has also become the mortal enemy of the concubines. Consort Jin sat down trembling. Ye Qianqian felt Jin's nervousness. When the mother's emotions fluctuate, it can also affect the fetus. Mother, relax, not afraid, Qianqian accompanies mother. Empress Jing put her hand on her stomach. I took a deep breath and slowly relaxed. The queen has seen everyone present. This great scene should also begin. It was originally during dinner, and my palace didn't want to expose this matter, but it concerns the royal bloodline. I cannot be less careful. The queen finished speaking. Glancing at Lin Zhaoyi. Lin Zhaoyi immediately stood up and knelt in front of the queen. Empress, I want to report my concubine's affair. Jingpin was taken aback. Private communication. When did she ever do a promiscuous thing behind the emperor's back? After listening, Ye Qianqian took a deep breath. Sure enough, tonight, everyone came with ill intentions. They all come for their mothers. Mother, don't be afraid or afraid. This is all a false accusation. Mother, calm down, don't get angry. If you move the fetus, Qianqian will feel very uncomfortable. Consort Jin's mood was already chaotic. After hearing Ye Qianqian's comfort, she worked hard to calm her emotions for the sake of the little princess. The queen frowned. Since Lin Zhaoyi said that Lady Jing had an affair, who is the person who had the affair? Guard Sun Hai. Why did Lin Zhaoyi say this? Empress Dowager, I know that before entering the palace, Empress Jing had a good personal relationship with Sun Hai. Sun Hai even gave her a family heirloom jade bracelet as a gift. Even if Empress Jing entered the palace, Sun Hai never stopped thinking about her. In the house outside of Sun Hai's palace, there was always a portrait of Empress Jing hanging. I have already sent someone to arrest Sun Hai and search for his portrait in his room. Someone. Bring Sun Hai up. Sun Hai was quickly tied up and escorted up in various ways. Lin Zhaoyi gave the portrait of concubine Jing to the empress. The queen opened the portrait and took a look. Indeed, it is a portrait of Empress Jing. Empress Jing, do you have any affair with Sun Hai? I don't have any, my dear concubine, I replied truthfully. I cannot hear your one-sided words about this matter. Sun Hai, have you had any private affair with concubine Jing while you are in the palace? Returning to Empress Dowager, I dare not lie. Even though my concubine entered the palace, my childhood friendship with me has not been severed. We have had more than one private meeting in the harem. Sun Hai. Why do you slander this palace? Jingpin's mentality shattered a bit. Empress Dowager. I and Sun Hai have indeed grown up together as childhood sweethearts, and Sun Hai did indeed give me a jade bracelet passed down from my family, but I refused. I have never had a romantic relationship with Sun Hai, and after entering the palace, I wholeheartedly served the emperor. There has never been any deviation or compromise. Please be aware of this, Empress Dowager. Sun Hai immediately said. Jiner, I know you are afraid of being executed by the 9 clans after the incident is exposed, but it doesn't matter. We were not born under the same blanket, but we can die in the same cave. You and I can be good companions on the road to the underworld. Jingpin's whole body was trembling with anger. She didn't understand. After entering the palace, she always avoided meeting Sun Hai. Even if they happened to meet by chance, she treated him like a stranger to avoid suspicion. I won't even give a glance. Why did Sun Hai suddenly frame her like this? Sun Hai said this without any shame. Suddenly, the Empress Dowager walked in. Everyone immediately stood up to greet the Empress Dowager. The Empress Dowager is auspicious. Let's all get up. The Empress Dowager sat in the position of Empress Dowager. The incident that occurred in Jingren Palace has already been transmitted to Shokang Palace. The Empress Dowager, the old Jiang, immediately suspected that this was a framing of Empress Jing. Because of the recent popularity of the virtuous concubine, there are naturally people in the harem who cannot accommodate her. Jean Pin is not a cunning person, and this game must have been played without any flaws. Jean Pin has no strength to fight back. If the Empress arrogantly advocates punishing the virtuous concubine, then the little princess in her belly will be gone. She finally had a little granddaughter who made her yearn for birth, but she couldn't be punished for an unfounded crime. Naturally, the Empress Dowager came to sit in battle and personally handle this matter. The Empress Dowager looked coldly at Sun Hai. Do you know that slandering concubines in the harem for having an affair is the death penalty for the 9 clans? Chapter 7. Inheriting the palace fighting skills of the AI family through generations. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Empress Dowager, the villain knows. It is precisely because of this that the villain dare not make hasty assertions. Do you know that having an affair with concubines in the harem is also a capital punishment for the 9 clans? Go back to the Empress Dowager. The little one knows. Those who can disregard the lives of the 9 clans and do such things have long been wiped out by the 9 clans. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so flawless. Even if they fight to the death, they will be willing to let go. Are you not afraid of death when you expose Jean Pin now? Returning to the Empress Dowager, the villain used to love deeply, but now he realizes that what he has done is a heinous act. The villain cannot watch the royal bloodline be tarnished like this, that's why he admits it all himself. Hee. Suddenly, Consort Su sneered. Just now, you said you wanted to be a pair of unfortunate mandarin ducks with concubine Jean, but now it's said that you woke up out of consideration for the emperor's heir. Such inconsistent words and actions show that your words have little credibility. The other concubines looked at each other in confusion. What is the identity of Empress Su? Who in this harem knows? Relying on the outstanding military achievements of the family, in the harem, even the empress is not valued. Not to mention a small humble concubine. But now she is speaking for Jean Pin, why is that? Sun Hai panicked for a few seconds and immediately said. I dare not lie, the child inside my wife's belly is mine. Jean Pin immediately stood up and said, you're lying. Autumn Moon immediately supported her. The Empress Dowager glanced at concubine Jean. Jean Pin, please sit down first and don't touch the fetal pressure. The Queen frowned. Did the Empress Dowager not hear what Sun Haigang just said? The child inside Empress Jin's belly is not the emperor's, why does the Empress Dowager still need to protect the fetus? Grandmother Xingming. I was not deceived by this despicable person, Sun Hai. Grandmother, you must believe in my mother. She really did not have any extramarital affair with anyone. Qianqian is really grandmother's granddaughter. This is a trap. Grandmother, you must be careful. Protect my mother. The Empress Dowager originally did not believe Sun Hai's one-sided words. She has seen the trick of framing in the harem before. Of course, she won't handle anyone casually until the facts are clear. Mother, you are trapped in a self-certification maze. The more you say you haven't done it, the more others feel that you have been meddling. Now. It's not about proving your innocence, but about stirring up this mess. When others say you have done something dirty, the more you want to bring the topic to others and shift everyone's attention away from you. After the mess is stirred up by the muddy water, you can slowly prove your innocence. After the Empress Dowager and Empress Dowager heard this heartfelt voice, the Empress Dowager was instantly shocked. Is this really a trick that a fetus would have? Although she is only a 5-month-old fetus, her scheming is as deep as when she fought in the palace. Back then, the Empress Dowager was also framed like this. The Empress Dowager, with her own strength, shifted everyone's attention to the concubine who had framed her. The other party was instantly riddled with loopholes, and her words were incoherent. In the end, she admitted that she was the one who planned the framing. The Empress Dowager certainly knows how to help Empress Jean. But she wanted to see first how her granddaughter would plan and advise Jean Pin in her womb, proving her innocence. After every death, Ye Qianqian. You can see the plot of that era on the side of the King of Hell. In each life, the timing of her death is different, and the outcome is naturally different. But there are some things she remembers. For example, what kind of person is Sun Hai? Although Sun Hai is the childhood sweetheart of concubine Jean. But there is one flaw. Good gambling. Back then, Empress Dowager Jin also discovered that he often frequented casinos and knew that he was not someone to entrust, so she refused him. Mother. Speak up about Sun Hai's fondness for gambling. Let everyone present know about Sun Hai's misconduct. Let the imperial grandmother see. What a gambler said has some credibility. The Empress Dowager remained silent. She is quietly waiting for Jean Pin's next words. Empress Dowager. I have known Sun Hai since I was young, and Sun Hai also had the intention of marrying me. However, I have seen Sun Hai enter and exit the Golden Hook gambling house multiple times, and I would not choose a gambler as my husband. Sun Hai was taken aback upon hearing this. What he has been trying to conceal all along, how can Jean Pin always know? The change in Sun Hai's expression was captured by the Empress Dowager. She immediately understood something in her heart. He. I turned out to be a gambler. When the gambler came to the gambling table, he was no longer a human. How much credibility can someone say something that is not human? It was still Consort Su who said this. Jean Pin doesn't understand why Empress Su wanted to help her speak, but in such a scene where everyone was afraid of falling into a well and falling into a stone, Empress Su was the only one pulling her up. I am naturally grateful to Consort Su. Su Guifei's words make sense, said the Empress Dowager. Just relying on a portrait does not necessarily mean that Empress Jean and Sun Hai have an affair. It is also possible that Sun Hai coveted Empress Jin's beauty and acted passionately. If that were the case, Sun Hai would have committed the great crime of executing the 9 clans. The Empress watched as the Empress Dowager and Empress Su, who held high positions in the harem, both interceded for Empress Jean. A batch of extremely panic and anxious. Immediately wink at Lin Zhaoyi. Lin Zhaoyi said, Empress Dowager, someone from the Chu Xiu Palace testified that they once saw Sun Hai enter and exit the concubine's side hall at night. He stayed there for several hours. The Empress Dowager said lightly. Xian. Quickly, 2 palace maids walked in. One is Chunlan, and the other is Dongxue. Jean Bin didn't know that they were always eyeliner sent by the queen. Now, it is time to utilize them. Chunlan and Dongxue are certainly standing on the side of the Empress. The Empress Dowager frowned when she saw the 2 of them. She had long known that these 2 people were from the Empress, and their testimony was naturally unfavorable to Empress Jean. However, the Empress Dowager is even more certain. This matter was planned by the Empress and Lin Zhaoyi. Sigh. Empress. Are you honestly sitting in your palace seat not good? Why do we have to die? The Empress Dowager is too lazy to ask, let the Empress act first. The AI family is feeling a bit tired, Empress, you make the decision. The queen's waist immediately stiffened. Chunlan, Dongxue, just say what you see. This palace will make decisions for you. Chunlan and Dongxue knelt down on the ground with a thud. Chunlan said, Empress, I have personally seen Sun Hai enter my concubine's room in the middle of the night and occasionally hear the sound of sexual activity coming from inside. Dongxue. I dare not lie, but this has happened more than once. During that half-month, Sun Hai came every day, and the emperor only came once. Later, Empress Dowager Jean became pregnant. It is related to the royal bloodline, and I dare not lie. Please be aware. Please be aware, AI family. What are you investigating? Are you investigating your clumsy methods of framing and framing? The AI family has been an Empress Dowager for over a decade, but how can the methods of the harem still be at the level of over a decade ago? Mother, ask these two sluts, since they have an affair with Sun Hai, has mother ever paid off Sun Hai's gambling debts more than once? The Empress Dowager's eyes lit up. She is really a great-granddaughter of the AI family. Is this inheriting the palace fighting skills of the AI family from another generation? Chapter 8. Jiang or Empress Dowager Spicy. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Jean Pin just kept the matter of extramarital affairs aside. If Sun Hai is caught and asked about this matter, she will definitely expose her opponent's flaws. Consort Jin immediately asked. Chunlan, Dongxue, since you have confirmed that our palace has an affair with Sun Hai, have we ever paid off Sun Hai's gambling debts more than once? Chunlan and Dongxue looked bewildered. Isn't this topic about Jean Pin and Sun Hai having an affair now? How could it be related to Sun Hai's gambling debt? Chunlan glanced at the queen. The queen shook her head at her, signaling that she didn't know what to say. I don't know. He keeps saying that he knows as much as he knows about the affair between Empress Jing and Sun Hai, and even knows about sexual matters. How could he not be clear about paying off the gambling debt to the adulterer? I'm afraid it wasn't just you two lowly maids who just kept talking nonsense. Chunlan panicked at the sound. Empress Jing must be very cautious about this matter and not let anyone get hold of it. Of course, the maids cannot know too much about it. The maids know that Sun Hai often goes in and out of Empress Jin's side hall. Mother, ask them the time. Let them say the exact time. When did Sun Hai enter the sleeping quarters of this palace? Just half a month ago, from the first day of April until the 8th day, Sun Hai came to the Chu Xiu Palace every day. For those 8 days, the emperor did not come to the imperial palace. The empress can naturally seize this loophole and let Chunlan frame Empress Jing. Mother. Go to the Golden Hook gambling house to check Sun Hai's entry and exit records from the beginning of April. The Empress Dowager kept a smile on her lips. The granddaughter of the AI family not only grew flesh in her womb, but also had a heart full of eyes all over her body. That's right, this is a strategy to counter the general's army. If Sun Hai spends any of the 8 days from April 1st to 8th at the Golden Hook gambling house, then there will be discrepancies between his testimony and that of Chunlan and Dongxue. The next step is to solve the problem. Mother, not only do you need to check the records of the gambling house, but you also need to check the records of Sun Hai's attendance in and out of the palace from April 1st to 8th. He may have someone else sign in on his behalf and go on his own. Never underestimate the gambler's determination to use all his time to go to the gambling table. Ouch. Coincidentally with the AI family. The granddaughter of the AI family must be a palace fighting master in the future. The Empress Dowager gave Ruoqiu a glance. If Autumn understood, she immediately went ahead and did it. The emperor has arrived. Yi Ling originally had to go to the Chu Xiu Palace after handling the court affairs. But Gao Yong informed him that something had happened at Jingren Palace. Yi Ling was worried about the situation of concubine Jean, so he hurried over. Your Majesty, good luck. Yi Ling took the initiative to lift up Empress Jing. Jeaner, you have been wronged. Consort Jin was taken aback. When the emperor said this, he believed her. The queen is so angry. In front of so much forged evidence, the emperor still unconditionally believes in Empress Jing. Today, I must give my wife Jin and her baby inside her a hard time. Jin's tears immediately fell down. The emperor believes in my concubine. Well, I believe in Jeaner. Wow. Father, long live, long live. This is what love looks like. I won't be provoked. I have unconditional trust in my own wife. There is nothing I can do with any green tea or white lotus flower. It's like a treasure trove of husband. Ah. I love you. Mua. Being praised like this by my own daughter. Ling couldn't conceal her smile at the corner of her mouth. The queen captured this expression. The emperor actually laughed. Such a serious scene of raping, the emperor is so indifferent. What kind of fox charm did Empress Jing use for the emperor? Jiner, please sit down first and leave the rest to me to handle. Emperor Xie. After sitting down, my dear concubine. Ling walked up to the Empress Dowager. My son pays respects to the Empress Dowager. Get up. Your Majesty, there must be a result for today's matter. Remember, kill what needs to be killed. My son understands. The Empress thought that what the Empress Dowager meant to kill was referring to Empress Jing. I feel a bit proud in my heart. Your Majesty, my dear concubine. Ling planned her words. I already know what happened. With so many people pointing fingers at Jiner today, it's difficult for you to work together so hard to bring Jiner down. The queen frowned. What does the emperor mean by these words? At this moment, Ruoqiu came in with a sign-in book. After the Empress Dowager received it, flipped it over. From the 1st to the 8th day of April, Sun Hai has a daily attendance record. The queen immediately said. So, the time when Sun Hai and concubine Jin had an affair can also be matched. The Empress Dowager remained calm and composed. How come Sun Hai's name and handwriting on this check.In record don't match those on March 29 and April 9? Upon hearing this, Ye Qianqian knew that the Empress Dowager had already begun her actions. In an instant, rainbow farts flew up. Wow! Grandmother is so amazing. She's ahead of everyone else in everything. Indeed, she was the champion of the previous palace battle. Everyone else is playing what grandmother has seen before. Nature knows how to prove her innocence from the beginning. I want to cheer for grandmother. Grandmother, I love you. Just like a mouse loves rice. Grandmother, I love you. Muamua. The Empress Dowager was overjoyed to hear this. However, my good granddaughter, is there anyone who praises me so much? You're not a little mouse. The Empress Dowager handed the attendance book to Ling. After flipping through it, Ling nodded. The handwriting is indeed 9% similar, but upon closer inspection, it is different. It is actually somewhat similar to the handwriting of a person named Li Kong above. Gao Yong. I'm here. Go check, from April 1st to 8th, did Li Kong sign for Sun Hai in the attendance book? Yes. Ling's words left the whole room completely silent. The emperor's words are a suspicion that Sun Hai is not in the palace from the 1st to the 8th day of the 4th month. Waiting for the result will take some time. Because she didn't have dinner, she called the queen over, and some of the concubines were already hungry. Grandmother. Father. Mother. I'm so hungry now. I really want to eat. If I don't eat again, I feel like I'm starving. The bird's nest that grandmother gave to mother is delicious. I still want to eat. The Empress Dowager immediately said, Empress Dowager Jin, please go to the back and have something to eat. Let the imperial kitchen prepare it quickly. There must be top-quality bird's nest. The concubines who remained in place looked at each other in confusion. What's going on? Are we all heir? Ling said, bring everyone's dinner up. Tonight, we have to settle this matter. Some have endured it. Sun Hai, Chunlan, and Dongxue are still kneeling on the ground. They are not qualified to eat, they can only kneel honestly. Lin Zhaoyi just thought about getting up when Ling gave a cold order. You kneel down. Lin Zhaoyi was stunned for a moment. The knee that was originally standing straight quickly bent and knelt down again. The queen already has a very bad premonition in her heart. According to the current attitude of the Empress Dowager and the Emperor, it is obvious that she is rushing for the innocence of her consort. At the same time, it is also recognized that Lin Zhaoyi was intentionally causing trouble. Once Jin Pin is proven innocent, the emperor was the first to take Lin Zhaoyi to perform an operation. She, as the mastermind behind the scenes, cannot escape the influence. After the dinner was served, she had no intention of eating it. Just thinking that once the situation is exposed, Lin Zhaoyi must not expose her. Chapter 9. Father kills madly. You are listening at novel full.audio. It takes less than 15 minutes. Gao Yong returned with Li Kong. Your Majesty, Li Kong has already arrived. At first, Li Kong didn't know what had happened until he saw Sun Hai, who was tied up in various ways, and he was completely dumbfounded. No way. Isn't it the head of the guard in charge of being on duty for someone? How did it disturb the entire harem? Even the Empress Dowager came forward. Yi Ling said, Li Kong, I'll ask you a few questions. You must be honest. Yes. I will tell you the truth. Are you on duty for Sun Hai from April 1st to 8th? Yes. I have a good personal relationship with Sun Hai. After he spoke up, I didn't think much and agreed. I am very good at imitating others' handwriting, so I imitated Sun Hai's handwriting and signed his name on the attendance form. So, Sun Hai was not in the palace those days. Your Majesty, that's right. Where is he then? I didn't ask, but I estimated that I should have gone to the Golden Hook gambling house. When Sun Hai had free time, he liked to go here the most. Yi Ling glanced at Chunlan and Dongxue. Since Sun Hai was not in the palace for those few days, how could he have an affair with Empress Jing? Don't tell me, Sun Hai dug a tunnel in the palace and secretly entered the palace to have an affair with Empress Jing. They were already so scared that they lay trembling on the ground. Emperor, spare your life. Empress Dowager, spare your life. Li Kong still had a bewildered expression on his face. What does this have to do with palace maids? Ruoqiu has also returned at this time. She brought back the shopkeeper of the Golden Hook gambling house. Emperor, Empress Dowager, this is Sun Changgui from the Golden Hook gambling house. Grass people, see the Emperor, see the Empress Dowager, see the Empress, see all the young masters, long live the Emperor, long live the Empress Dowager, long live the Empress Dowager. Okay, no gift. Yi Ling asked straightforwardly. From April 1st to 8th, can Sun Hai be at the Golden Hook gambling house? Returning to the Emperor, Sun Hai was indeed at the Golden Hook gambling house during those days, and there are records of it for the grassroots. Sun Changgui presented the notebook with both hands. Yi Ling flipped over. Put the notebook aside. Does he have any debts at the gambling house? Returning to the Emperor, Sun Hai owed a total of 1,000 taels of silver in gambling debts, but this morning he had already paid it off. Oh my! The time to repay the gambling debt coincides with the time to frame my mother's innocence. I'm afraid this gambling debt was paid off by someone behind your back, on the condition that you cooperate with them to falsely accuse my mother. Yi Ling smiled in her heart. This girl didn't see anything, she just analyzed what she heard on the scene and was very knowledgeable. Yi Ling sternly asked Sun Hai. Who paid off your gambling debt on your behalf? Yes. Sun Hai no longer dares to frame Empress Jing. Now, all the evidence is proving that Jin Pin is innocent. It was framed by someone. What the Emperor needs to know now is who is the mastermind behind the scenes. Sun Hai glanced at Lin Zhaoyi and didn't dare to say anything. Yi Ling's gaze turned to Lin Zhaoyi. Lin Zhaoyi, you were the first to step forward and expose Jin Pin's infidelity. Now that it has been proven that Jin Pin is innocent, how can you defend yourself? Lin Zhaoyi also became afraid. In the harem, falsely accusing a concubine of innocence is a capital offense. Lin Zhaoyi glanced at the queen. What should we do? Are you going to expose the queen? Do you want to tell the emperor that all of this was instructed by the queen behind the scenes? But will the emperor believe it? I don't have enough evidence right now to prove that the queen is related to this matter. If the queen says I am falsely accusing her. In the eyes of the emperor and Empress Dowager today, I am the culprit who has falsely accused others twice in a row. But if I really carry the blame for the queen, will the queen plead for me? Based on what she has done before, she is the one who sets aside all connections and takes the lead in self-protection at critical times. Okay. You asked me to block the gun for you, but I had to pull you down. Lin Zhaoyi was just about to say that the queen was the mastermind behind the scenes. At this moment, Lin Zhaoyi saw the empress playing with a jade pendant in her hand. That's He Jing's jade pendant. Empress, she has taken He Jing as a hostage. What a wicked heart. Lin Zhaoyi instantly understood that she must bear the blame for the empress in today's framing incident. Otherwise, her daughter may die without a burial ground. Lin Zhaoyi closed her eyes in despair. Emperor, Empress Dowager, it was my concubine who deliberately designed and bribed Sun Hai to falsely accuse my concubine of her innocence. Dear concubine, these days you have been in endless glory. Our palace clearly holds a higher position than you. We have also given birth to a princess. Why does our palace not enjoy as much favor as you? Our palace refuses. Our palace is trying to frame you. Yo, this black pot is really too professional. Without the guidance of the queen, would you dare to do such a big thing alone? Who doesn't know, you are one of the members of the queen's abortion team. Although I don't know what happened outside that made you willing to take the black pot, I think it should be related to He Jing. Maybe He Jing has become the queen's hostage. The Empress Dowager immediately smiled at the corners of Yi Ling's mouth. Sure enough, ice and snow are smart. You can also guess who the real mastermind behind the scenes is through your belly. Father. Although there is no evidence to prove that the Empress is the mastermind behind the scenes, for such a big affair, the Empress believed Lin Zhaoyi's words without conducting an investigation for no reason. So the Empress is also somewhat negligent in managing the 6 palaces. Should she be punished for dereliction of duty? This girl knows quite a lot. Yi Ling's spear immediately turned to the Empress. Empress, why didn't you investigate carefully and make such a big fuss? Do you like this ending now? The queen immediately knelt on the ground. It's my concubine's dereliction of duty. Please punish me, Emperor. Yi Ling said, the Empress has been staying in Jingren Palace these days to reflect, and Empress Su is in charge of managing the 6 palaces. Su Guifei immediately stood up. My concubine obeys the order. Sun Hai, Chunlan, Dongxue, falsely accuse Jinpin of innocence, pull her out and divide her body into 5 horses. Chop her into meat sauce. Sun Hai, Chunlan, and Dongxue's heads are clattering loudly. Emperor, spare your life. Emperor, spare your life. Yi Ling ignored it. Li Kong, impersonating Sun Hai to sign, although not the person who directly caused today's result, it indirectly implicated Empress Jing and resulted in her death. The ending of Sun Hai has already frightened Li Kong. Now that the emperor can give him a whole body, it is considered fortunate. He has repeatedly kowtowed to show gratitude, and it can only be said that his carelessness in making friends led to his fate today. Lin Zhaoyi, falsely accuse Jinpin of innocence and execute her. Lin Zhaoyi immediately collapsed on the ground. After reacting, immediately kowtow and beg for mercy. Emperor. Emperor. I still have Princess He Jing to raise. If I die, what will the princess do? I beg the emperor to spare my life for the sake of the princess. Princess He Jing, with a mother like you raising her, is unlikely to be the second you. He Jing will temporarily be entrusted to the Empress Dowager for custody. Someone will bring Lin Zhaoyi back and execute her. Chapter 10. Playing with the umbilical cord and going to sleep. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Lin Zhaoyi's face had suffered a devastating defeat, and her whole body was trembling, unable to say a word. The guards walked up and took Lin Zhaoyi down. Wow, my father is so decisive in killing, I love his tyrannical actions. I am willing to call my father the chopping spirit. If you don't agree, you will chop people who don't like you into meat sauce. And my grandmother, on the other hand, is the hanging spirit. Everything that happens in the harem is under the control of my grandmother. And I, on the other hand, am the licking spirit. As long as I am a loyal licking dog for my father and grandmother, I shout, "Father, my grandmother is truly a divine person." The Empress Dowager was unable to laugh or cry. Where did this girl learn these words from? Mother, it's getting late. My son will take you back to the palace. No need, you can send concubine Jin back to the palace. Today, concubine Jin has suffered a great deal of injustice, so please accompany her well. My son understands. Farewell to the Empress Dowager upon her departure. Yi Ling stood up and walked to Jin Pin's side. Dear madam, I think today's dinner was not well prepared for you. I will accompany you back to the Chu Palace to have a good evening meal and then rest. How about that? Emperor Xie. Yi Ling turned around and looked at the crowd. After tossing and turning all night, you both, those who watch and act, are tired. Let's all go back to the palace. Farewell to the emperor. In the Chu Palace. Jin Pin was just led by Yi Ling into the side hall. Tears came down. She restrained herself all night and only cried now. Not to mention being a concubine in the harem, she is just a woman from an ordinary household. Being falsely accused of innocence like this is unbearable. As soon as Empress Jing cried, Ye Qianqian felt unwell. Mother, don't cry. Father, embrace me. Yi Ling immediately gave Jin Pin a warm embrace. Jiner, I know you've been wrong today. My poor mother, even though she didn't do anything wrong, she was targeted by women in the harem just because she received more favor. She was framed and innocent today, and I don't know what those people will do tomorrow. Yi Lingwen Judo. Dear son, no matter how others falsely accuse you, I will stand by your side and seek justice for you. Father is great. I strongly give him a thumbs up. Father is not like a suspicious pig hoof, standing on the opposite side of his mother when he comes up. Mother has indeed found a satisfactory husband. Mother. Don't cry, don't cry. When you cry, I feel so uncomfortable in your belly. Jin Pin immediately stopped her tears. I won't cry. I won't cry. For the sake of the little princess, my mother won't cry. Yi Ling said, Jiner, are you exhausted? Take a good rest. Someone, come and fetch a basin of foot wash water. After the foot wash was brought in by the autumn moon, Yi Ling helped Empress Jing sit down. When he sat at the feet of Empress Jing, ready to take off her shoes and socks, Jin Pin was startled. Your Majesty, you must not lose your identity like this. Jiner, in this Chu Palace, you and I are just an ordinary couple, not a ruler or a minister. You are pregnant, and although those servants can serve you, I want to personally take care of you today. Emperor Xie. Husband. After taking off her shoes and socks, Yi Ling gently placed her feet in the foot wash basin and began washing her feet. Is the water temperature suitable? Wow. My wise and powerful father. Throughout history, how many monarchs have been able to let go of the emperor's position like a father, so gentle and considerate? Even if my mother has a great injustice, after being treated so gently by my father, she will not feel aggrieved. I have decided that when looking for a husband in the future, we will follow the standard of a father's emperor. A man who is wealthy, beautiful, and has supreme status, and can personally wash his wife's feet when she is pregnant, being favored by him is like saving the Milky Way in his previous life. Wow! I can feel my mother is very happy now. Mother and daughter are connected, my mother is happy, and I am even happier in her belly. I hope my mother can be so happy every day, and I can grow up happily. Father, please rest early, don't get tired. If you get tired, your mother will feel heartbroken. Ye Ling smiled, picked up a towel, wiped Jin's feet, and helped her lie down. Jina, rest well. After I wash up, I will come to accompany you. Ye Ling fulfills his promise. After washing up, I really came to hug my wife. I've been tinkering around in Jingren Palace for so long tonight. Empress Jing is tired, and has already fallen asleep. Ye Ling gently spoke to Jin Pin's stomach. Qianqian, you should sleep well and not disturb your mother. All right. Qianqian follows the order. Father, please rest early too. I'll go to bed after playing with my umbilical cord for a while.